Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. It's truly a delight to come here to MEDLEY Toastmasters Club. Thank you so much for having invited me to conduct this session. I feel so honored, my dear friends. Like every time that I start my session, I ask this question, how are you? And I receive this answer, fine. Okay, I mean, the English language has fine carrying two meanings, right? One is yes, I'm doing good. The other meaning for the word fine is you're penalized, right? So the moment I ask, how are you? Fine. When everyone says this, I feel like I shouldn't ask this question here. So I always ask my friends to say, let's make it, I'm fine, right? So how are you, friends?
I'm fine.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So today's session would be around how to prepare for a humorous speech. I'm from BeehiveCommunicationClub Toastmasters, and I've had this opportunity of representing our division in the district level humorous speech contest, and I also fortunately took the title last year. And this presentation I'm going to give you today is all about my experiences over having the audience intact with you when you present this humorous speech. Shall we get into this?
Yes.
Right. So before we get into this first slide, I would like to have this question answered. How many of you have attempted a humorous speech contest before? That's good. Fantastic. And how many of you are planning to have an attempt this time? Oh, great. Fine. If you are in one way or the other connected with a humorous speech contest, a few questions would be running around your mind. Just tell me if I am missing out on those things. Today we'll be covering two chapters. Okay, take it. Chapter number 1. There is no answer to this question. How to prepare for a humorous speech? It's only sharing of little experiences. Right? The first point that comes into this preparation of humorous speech is the doubtfulness. Number 1. Will the audience laugh for my jokes? Is there anyone who doesn't have this question in your mind?
Nobody is
So everyone has this question. Alright friends, let's just think about one thing. See, a point to be noted, this is not a humorous speech, right? So do not expect this to be so humorous. I'm going to give you information, right? It's going to be more or less a serious session. See, it's always very important that you know your audience and you know the purpose of the presentation. I'll tell you something about this later when I have one of my keywords around it. See, it starts here, my dear friends. Just imagine a movie that's filled with comedy, alright? I think people here are from, not everyone understands Tamil, right? Okay, let's make it this way. Think of your movie, the movie that you like the most. It's full of comedy. You had the best comedian in the movie. You were like 300 people sitting in the theater and listening to the jokes. How was the theater? Like, don't you feel that it was filled with laughter? Like everywhere people were clapping hands, people were jumping here and there, enjoying, roaring. And just imagine the same movie is played in your house. You are the only person sitting in the hall and you are looking at this movie. Or assume you have your computer there, you have the headphones connected, and it's only you who is listening. You as an individual, when you were in this theater, how did you react to that joke? And now how did you react when you were listening to the same joke as an observer? What's the difference? You know what you do? You sit silently. And for the joke that you were on the chair, now here you just say, that's good. So we do this. And the first point about this question is, yes, we have this doubt because we try our joke only within us. We are the only audience to our jokes, and thereby you feel that the joke is not so qualified to be posted to a crowd. But the understanding that we may need to have is the level of understanding of a crowd is always very different from the level of understanding of an individual. A joke that did not work on an individual will definitely work on a crowd. Do you get that? In fact, for the Tamil-speaking folks, sorry friends for making the others an outcast. Have you heard, have you watched this joke of Vadivelu, this Uttapam joke? Yes. Have you heard it? Like we laughed a lot. I'll tell you, when Vadivelu crafted that joke, maybe other folks, think of any best joke in any movie. When the people crafted that joke initially, they wouldn't have felt that it would be a good joke. They wouldn't have been sure of the response of the audience for that joke. The only thing is they confidently keep doing what they do. And the confidence in a way reaps the response. The second thing. Okay, did you have this question? Sir, I'm a very serious speaker. See, all through my career as a public speaker, I've conveyed a lot of messages. Will humor work with me? Okay, one classical example for people who hold this doubt is Abraham Lincoln. Like, we know Abraham Lincoln was the president of the United States of America. One key reason for him to have been the leader there was his oratory skills. It's not just presenting motivational talks. He was equally humorous. I'll tell you, like, it was once happened in the life of Abraham Lincoln. Like, he was dining with so many men, and the person who was sitting adjacent to him was a person who belonged to the opposition party, and both of them never had common likes. Now, when they were dining, Abraham Lincoln had to get up from the seat. He had to do something and get back to the seat. So what he does, he takes off and moves. His handkerchief was on the table. And this man who was sitting adjacent to Abraham Lincoln noticed that. And he wanted to do something mischievous. So he took out his pen, drew the face of a donkey, just the face of a donkey on the kerchief, and just started dining. And now when Abraham Lincoln comes there, he sees the face of a donkey on his kerchief, and he very well knew that it was this guy who has done that. And he simply asks, "Sir, when I was off my seat, did you wipe your face with my kerchief?" Question. Now just imagine, he's such a serious person. Like, think of Abraham Lincoln. Do you think that face can crack jokes? The long, thin face of this man, it never sounds like making humor, but it still works. No matter what type of speaker you are, yes, you can crack jokes if you still go ahead with your belief. And the final one, how long should I wait to take up my first humorous speech? How long do you think I have to practice for this, sir? You will have to practice, and you will have to wait till your club level humorous speech contest for the year 2016. I mean, I say, don't wait. Go ahead. That's it. There is no waiting time. Go ahead, experiment yourself with your first attempt. Right? Where do we start? Are we in this question?
Yes.
How many of you have this question? How do I choose my topic for a humorous speech? My dear friends, don't choose the topic. That's the answer. Don't choose your topic. I'll tell you, for every contest, there is a condition stating, like, go through the ballot sheet, the judge's ballot sheet, so that you understand how you have to prepare your speech. But for humorous speech contest, I would say, no, don't do that. Don't choose your topic, because these things refrain you. These things, have you in a very narrow space where you cannot think about a variety of jokes. Like, the best part is, like, things that you enjoyed as humor, things that you enjoyed of jokes should be given space into your speech. And later find something common with all these jokes that can act as your humor, that can act as your topic. This would be a better advice. I'll tell you, this is not the right answer for a question. This is an answer out of the experiences of people who have been good humorous speakers, right? So do not concentrate on a topic which is going to refrain you from selecting a variety of jokes. Go with the variety, have them in the dish, now have a name for it finally. And I've heard so many people who have fallen into this trap. See, when I look back, the same content which I developed a few days back looks so serious and it looks so dull. I don't think this sounds to be a good joke. What's the problem? Like, do you think something that looked like a joke a few days ago has lost its concentration, has lost its quality? Is it so?
You already know the joke.
You already know the joke. That's the problem, my dear. Like, you are a repeated audience for your joke. Think of a Vadivel joke. Like, you're looking at it for the second time, the third time, the fourth time, your response gets diluted. It doesn't mean that the joke is not good. The joke is definitely good. It is going to work with a new audience. So feel that and have this habit of looking at your joke as a new audience every time. When I talk about preparation, I'll underline this fact once again. But just understand, if this is your question, you are wrong in understanding something, my dear. Right? How do I gather confidence in a humorous speech? Let me answer this question finally. Let's slowly move into the little hints. The first thing that I believe in a humorous speech is this element of unpredictability. Like, when you look at the definition of humor, when you understand the psychology behind how a human reacts and laughs for a joke, it said that something that is unpredictable, something that comes all in a sudden makes them laugh. Like last year when I presented myself in the district level, I was talking on a topic, is my maths teacher in the hall? That was my topic. I was talking about my problems in understanding mathematics, and I was telling them how badly I was suffering from the problems right from my grade 1. Like, one of the passages was like this. See, when I was in my first grade, my maths teacher asked me to recite numbers in order. My uncle had once taught that to me, so I immediately started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great, continue, she said. I smiled and continued. Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Like, this is a place where your Unpredictability actually helps you. Like things that people really did not expect will quickly get into the space and they help you. Like I said, like there is only one difference between Ramanujam and me. Ramanujam was so good in mathematics and so poor in all the other subjects. I was so poor in mathematics and remember I said there is only one difference between Ramanujam and me, and that difference lies in mathematics. In the other subjects we got the same. Like in all these cases, like when people think of this script to go in one flow, you quickly deviate them from that flow and put them in another direction. I mean, think of these two things. After a point you will feel, no, what is the joke in this? Why did this fellow crack this? At that moment it was just unpredictable to you and you laugh. You understand? So that's more important. Unpredictability always helps. Make it very clear, my dear friends. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech and there is no space for long incidents. Don't take time to set the context, jump into the joke right away. Right? I was into this situation during the last ISE. We were talking about that ISE speech. I mean, my goal was to have humor in the first 2.5 minutes of my speech. So thereby now it is not even 5 to 7 minutes, it is only 2.5 minutes that I have. So I knew that I did not have space to set the context. Well, let me just give you the first 2 minutes of my ISE, how I presented it there. I went onto the stage and I did this. Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. This is exactly how I failed and fumbled in my first stage at the age of 8. And when I failed, my coach, who was standing behind the screen, immediately said, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen." I saw him and said, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen." When you are on the stage for the first time, your brain works exactly like a 5-year-old kid. Let me explain this to you. During last Diwali, I was using a candle, lighting a color matchstick, and I was playing with it. Looking at me, my 5-year-old neighbor used the same candle to light an atom bomb and was playing with it. I saw him and shouted immediately, "Throw it away!" He threw the candle away. Your brain works the same way when you're on the stage for the first time. During my first stage, I was expected to act as Brutus, kill Caesar, and present a talk to the Romans. I took out my dagger, killed a minister instead of Caesar, and I was talking about Caesar to Caesar. The boy who was acting as Caesar did not know what to do. Knowing that he should be dead for that scene, he took out his dagger, killed himself and lay Like, just imagine all these things. You will understand 2 points very clearly. I mean, none of these incidents were large. I mean, everything went to a closure very fast, very soon. And that's where you'll also understand there was exaggeration in this. I'll tell you, none of these things happened in my life. Nothing happened. Okay, there was no boy who was playing with his atom bomb. There was nobody who was asking me to stab him. No, nothing like that. But then there were incidents which were close to this. Like you share them in the same pace, people may not feel the laughter. Like present them in an exaggerated style, and most importantly, making it short helps. Alright. And there are some cases when you lengthen the setting of context, the dilution effect may happen. Some speakers like Tengachi Swaminathan, like I believe some of you know that. This is one of the jokes that was shared by him. Like this man said, he was to conduct a session on anger management. So he was traveling to another country to conduct this session. So he was standing in the queue in the airport with his luggages. They were weighing the luggages, and there was one person who was placing it on the aisle. There was another passenger standing like 2 persons ahead of Swaminathan. This guy seemed to be a very angry man. When he passed on his luggage to that worker, the person accidentally slipped it. The next moment, this fellow started shouting at him. Like, who do you think you are and who do you think I am? How could you drop my luggages? You know, I'm such and such a person, I'm going here, I'm doing this. How could you drop my luggage? And this person just carried a smiling face. He was so silent. This person continued to yell, this person continued to smile. And Swaminathan, who was at the back of this queue, was watching everything. Like, this fellow is shouting at the top of his voice and he's only smiling. And after a point, the fellow left. Now it was Swaminathan's turn. He said, "Sir, just listen, sir. I'm going to conduct a session on anger management. I can find no better example than you. See, that fellow was shouting at you at the top of your voice. You were only smiling. How could you do that? How could you control your anger?" And the person says, "Sir, there are different ways to show your anger. Like that man was shouting at me and that is the way he shows his anger. I have a different way of showing my anger. See, that gentleman is going to America, his luggages are going to Japan." thing about this incident is, there was actually a higher probability for this joke not to work with you. You know why? My explanation was so long that you come with me. All the time it was a serious note. Just assume by the time I said that, I had a fumble. Just imagine. That man going, if this had happened at that time, lost. I have not just lost that joke, I have lost 1.5 minutes of my time. You get that? And that's why I say it should be short incidents. Maybe I flop here, quickly I gather up pace, I try it on the next one. Clear? These three things go together again, friends. Altering the famous, the wordplay, and actions. All these again are connected with something people can connect. That is the point. So, for example, there are some people who always like touching Newton's laws. You know that? Like that they go on today. Newton says every action has an equal and opposite reaction. No, it's not like that. Every action has an opposite reaction, but it is not always equal. It can be double the times of the action. Like if someone slaps me, I'm not expected to slap only once. Once for he slapped me, the second time for starting it. Like he can do this. And some people like this, the early bird catches the worm. Who said so? Like we are late guys. If there are late birds, there will be late worms also. We can go and get them. Like certain things around. Like when you touch those common things which people know, they quickly relate to it and they connect with you. I mean, like some of the members in the district conference told me that was one advantage for me when I presented my speech. Like you get into any crowd, you say, how many of you do not like mathematics? The half raises the hand. The other knows how difficult it is for the others. They know the complexities in mathematics. So thereby from there onwards everything worked in our favor. Maybe it was not so planned that time. But later I understood, okay, just because people were able to relate to it, they reacted. And certain jokes were again around things people would have experienced. Like my second part of the speech was completely around what happens in the examination hall. Particularly if it is a maths exam. So my speech was like this. See, the worst thing in the maths examination hall is not forgetting the calculator and logbook to the exam hall. The worst thing is having the calculator and logbook and not knowing what to do with them. Everyone in the hall, like just imagine your answer for the entire question paper will be over with 5 papers remaining in the main sheet. You will see everyone getting 15 additional sheets and you don't even know why. So everything around those things, like you should never discuss your answers with the friends after the examination is over. That's the worst thing. Like one guy comes running and says, my answer for the 25th question was 5. The other guy says, no, it was 5.05. My answer for such question will be minus 22,500. Like that's why you shouldn't be talking with those guys. So everything around these things helped. And there was another place where I said, see, at times I feel like talking to the question paper. The question paper says, prove that a plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. He never said a plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Why should I prove that? Like, such things like where you feel that altering the famous happens there, and maybe you play with the words, like prove that a plus b the whole square has a different meaning. It means that it is already proven. Come on, tell me if you know that. That is the point. Like you say, no, I did not say that. Why should I prove that? No, let us have it is not like that. And maybe words like assuming. They say, later we go again. Okay, assume A is equal to B, A is equal to 5. Assume B is equal to 10. Okay. When you can assume that the letter A is 5, when you can assume that the letter B is number 10, why don't you assume A plus B the whole square is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB? Like there you use the technical words there, use them in your context, throw it, it works. And in another case wherein I had to talk about my uncle, I just used this thing. See, the speech was in this way that I did not like my uncle. See, 20 years ago, my uncle started his career as a still cameraman. Today he is still cameraman. The word still gets used this way or the other. So, wherein the word play and fun helps you, right? Mistakes that we may commit, my dear friends. This happens in a few cases. Highly complicated and technical jokes, which not everyone understands. At times we feel that 50% of the audience will know that joke, will understand that joke. And again, among the 50% feel it a joke. And among that 50%, only 20% will be generous enough to laugh for you. So that's where we miss it. So see that people understand your jokes. This point is number one. See, most of the times when people don't react, there is a higher probability for some 10% or 20% of the audience not to have understood you. I was telling you that I'll talk about this a little later, right? A few minutes ago. It is this point. The first time that I went to Sri Lanka for attending my ISC district level contest, my topic was get lost. That was my topic. I had prepared the speech this way. The first 2 minutes will be ultimate humor, according to me. I prepared that. The remaining part will be a serious speech, right? That was the first time that I was entering a Sri Lankan audience. That was the first time for me to Sri Lanka. It was in Colombo. I went onto the stage. Remember, understanding involves many other things. I went there. It was a 600 member crowd, wherein 575 were Sri Lankans. 25 including me were from India, right? Including the contestants were from India. It happens that way. I was already acclaimed to be a fast speaker here by some of my mentors. They say, come on, slow down. People will not understand. If even Indians cannot understand it, think of people who carry another accent. I went there, I started. Good morning, this, that. I was doing that. By the end of every joke, I looked at the audience. You know how serious they were. They thought I was presenting a motivational speech. Like everyone was looking so serious. And I kept walking here and there. I presented everything, nothing worked. And slowly out of this arrogance that I had from the audience, I started slowing down. In my serious content, I got the laughter thrice or 4 times. And possibly that night, it was this fun night. Like they were all enjoying, like I was worried why none of my jokes really work. And at that time people said, we did not understand, sir. This was the point. It's not that the quality of the joke goes down. Understand your audience and check if they have really got your joke. That's more important than anything else, right? And again, choosing concepts, be a little careful on this, friends. At least to Toastmasters, I don't say, even nobody can say, no, don't go with this topic, go with this topic. No one can say that. But when you talk about the opposite gender, when you talk about men, women, lady love, lover, like people have heard more of these jokes, and presenting a joke which has never been cracked before might be a challenge. There are so many other such areas which can give you the guarantee of jokes. Like to a person like me, kids have always fascinated me in this area. Like I have a lot about kids, particularly in the area called miscommunication. So I always go around that. Like Sir was sharing it with me, like when it comes to dietitians, they give me a lot of scope for humor. So choose those different areas where you think not everyone will think. When you have a topic that others will not think, in the area called unpredictability, you are already having a tick mark. Do you get that? No long explanations to set base. You don't have time, friends. See, remember, by the end of the day, in an ISC, people look for theme. They check whether the message has gone inside. But with a humorous speech, no, the judges are not waiting for your theme. Definitely not. By the end of my speech, I say, yes, I'll be a latecomer for a long time. I will be that. People will still accept. I say, maths is not a good subject. Go. I wouldn't take that up. Still, I'm accepted. I'm just evaluated on the number of jokes that I had. The frequency in which you had the audience responding to you alone matters. And that's where I say, like for every 4 to 5 lines of your script, a joke should get closed. The next 4 or 5 lines, a joke should get closed. Maybe if you feel that no, I definitely need a long explanation to crack this huge one. Okay, go ahead. See that there are some little subtle humor here and there in that long explanation. Do not leave it vague. Do not see that it's filled with serious content and in the last line you have your humor. Like let's assume that it works. Okay, there is no formula and it works. Just imagine you have 3 such huge passages in your script. The audience laughed for you thrice. By the end of the first passage, by the end of the second passage, by the end of the third passage. Fantastic humor, classical humor. And I am a poor speaker who comes up there and makes them laugh 4 times. I win. You get that? So the frequency in which you make them laugh matters. The audience response is more important. There is a judge who did not like your humor, they still love the response that you yielded from the crowd. The audience decide how the judges have to have their pen on the paper. Remember, this is something that happened to me in Sri Lanka. After having that very tough experience, the next time when I went to present my speech on mathematics, it was again in Sri Lanka, it was in Kandy. I went there, I talked to everyone. I talked to everyone literally. It was a fun night, this time the fun night was before the contest. So I got everyone and I asked them, see, I'll give you some words, I'll give you some sentences, tell me if you understand it, that's enough. Don't tell me if you feel it like a joke or not, just tell me if you can understand. I said, I'm going to speak on maths, I said. Sorry sir, I don't understand. He said, no, seriously, he did not understand. Later I understood they say mats. That's how they pronounce. Mats. When you say mats, they understand it. I said, okay, do you know this formula A plus B the whole square? No sir, you should say A plus B the whole thing square. That's when I understand. Tell me that the little things, if you don't make them understand them, I ask them, see my first joke was on the scale that they used to punish us. They beat us, right? So I asked them, see, I'm going to make this, and I explained the joke. The fellow understood that. They used the scale to beat us. So what? Your teachers use the scale to beat you? He asked. It's an instrument of education. How can they use it? I said, my shock. More than that is, so don't your maths teachers beat you with the scale? His answer was, no, they use steel rods for that. So the point is, it's important that you get the crux and then present it. You understand? So get the crux, present it. Make it very clear. Don't miss out on words and accents. Maybe the good joke which you had placed may lose its power. Copied jokes. Even in contests, they say 25% of your content can be taken, can come through references. But yes, that's true. But at the same time, see that the joke at least has fallen only into your eyes. Feel that. Like if even 10% of the audience know this joke and they start sharing this from that point, I'll tell you within the 5 minutes of your speech, everyone will know that. I mean, they stop responding. There is another point in this presentation where I said the alignment of your jokes. How do I align the Shyam? See, my message comes at the end. So should I have these jokes at the end? No, it's not like that. I told you message is not important here. I would say have the jokes that you trust the most at the top. The first 90 seconds decide your fate, sir. The first 90 seconds. The response that you yield at that 90 seconds is the response that you will get throughout the speech. See, I assume I had powerful jokes in the first 90 seconds. They laughed so well for me. And I had some poor jokes in the line. They will still react the same way. Now just take it the other way. I reserve all the best jokes at the end so that I give a powerful conclusion. And I had some poor ones at the beginning. I don't say poor ones, things that you felt will not work. And I had a very average reaction from the audience. The power of the other jokes that come later will also be diluted. They don't respond. They react the same way. They react the same way and it closes as an average speech. So dump all the good ones at the top and see that you place the other things in gaps wherein they will still get the response. More important. Right? Someone remember this UGB fun?
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid. What does that mean, sir?
Movie in that.
In the movie, Jackie Chan says this to the kid. What does that mean? Do you remember?
Too much of everything is a.
Too much of something is not good. This is a problem with presenting humorous speeches. Like we practice it so many times that we become so mechanical. We become so mechanical. Like he gave me an answer. I told you. Like when you look at your own joke for the second time, it seems like a dull joke. That's because you have already run that so many times in your mind and you are a repeated audience. So just imagine you are rehearsing for the 15th time or the 20th time. You feel so mechanical and you just deliver the content. Even you wouldn't be enjoying your script. And this is okay with any other contest. You can manage it. But with a humorous speech contest, like you should feel like an audience every time that you speak. You should feel where the joke will get cracked. That's more important. And one quick suggestion that I get from my friends and peer group is that, like, we all have this habit. We lock ourselves into a room. We stand against a wall and bore the same wall every time, right? I tell you, bore this wall for some days and this wall for some days. It's the vision that you have in front of your eyes should change for every rehearsal. Like don't stand the same way and practice it. Stand in another side of the room or go change the room, practice it somewhere else so that your mind knows you are talking to different people. They say it perceives it that way and that way it is a little active. Okay, let me understand that I am talking to different audience. Let me understand or let me feel every joke and present it. That's more important. I'll tell you, I have practiced some of my scripts many number of times that I finally forgot in which part the audience should actually laugh. I start giving emphasis on certain other areas which are not so important and some areas where it should be given and I don't give it. That's where you feel in the area level it worked, in the district level it did not work. Have you felt this? It's because you have changed. The joke has not changed. The audience has not changed. If you had presented it the same way you presented it in the area, it would have worked. Because of your rehearsals, you have changed it. This is the point. And arrangement, I told you. And most important thing, I have seen some division speakers falling into this trap. Like you crack a joke and you laugh on the stage. No, don't do that. Like you don't laugh for your jokes. If you think of all the comedians that you know, they crack jokes on serious incidents. Am I right? Serious incidents crack the best jokes, bring you the best jokes. How do I know it's a serious incident? From your face. If you're laughing, then that's not a serious incident. If that is not a serious incident, then I won't laugh. Come on. So this happens. So see that you don't react to your jokes. Just stay calm and keep proceeding. What if people don't laugh at my jokes? Okay, I did all that I could and I saw that the people did not react. It doesn't mean you can ask, I mean, you can't do anything on the stage. It's not like you complete a joke and people did not laugh. Nothing works. Like, the point is, have two versions of your speech. This is what I would say. By the end of every sentence, no matter what, we are going to have a small pass and then continue with the next sentence. See that you cracked a joke, you thought the audience would respond, but they did not. Quickly move on to the next sentence. Your eyes will tell your expectations. Don't do that. Okay? Don't tell them that I was expecting you to laugh here. Don't convey this thing to them. Just keep moving. I mean, you are a better actor than them. Okay? There will be some people in the audience who will feel like laughing, but they don't. But you will have to act better than them. Okay? That was not even a joke. You just keep moving. Understand, if it is a good joke, maybe 30%, 40% in the scale, they will definitely react. Wait for that. And that's when I said, like you have a 5 to 7 minute speech. Many experts would say, Shyam, you are wrong in suggesting this to people. But take this as a kind suggestion. Go with 20 to 25 jokes. Go with 20 to 25 jokes. Sir, it is going to sound like a stand-up comedy, sir. No, the brilliance lies in connecting all these things and make them look like a humorous speech. Right? Go that way. Assume 15 of your jokes did not work. Still you have made a profitable business with the 10 jokes. You will win it. You get that? So go with 25. The more number of jokes that you pack inside, no matter how heavy the losses, still you will be successful. Alright? Should I have buffer time for audience response? Does anyone have this question? Shyam, like assume I have practiced it only with my content. The clock takes 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Should I have some space in between, like assuming that the people will react, and let me plan that I will finish off somewhere at 7 minutes, and should I reduce my content so? What's the answer? It was unpredictable. Okay, no. Okay, the answer is no. The point is, there is something called this adrenaline push, right? Any speaker, when you go onto the stage, you get that. No matter how many times you have taken the stage, you go onto the stage, you have this push. And believe me, for the first 2 minutes, the pace in which you are talking is different from the pace that you carry in the last 4 minutes of your speech. Particularly when you have this response from the audience, automatically you will be pedaling fast. Just tell me, don't say the opposite answer this time as well. Like try to understand my question and give me the answer. See, you practiced your normal speeches here for your CC presentations, the wonderful preparations that you take up. The clock ticked a particular timing. You came here and got the report from the timer later. Compare both. Which is short? Okay, I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer. You say yes. The one that you come onto the stage and present will be less. So the point is, when you come onto the stage, automatically the time goes down. Maybe a speech that you thought will last till 6 minutes and 30 seconds will last only 5 minutes 30 seconds. No matter how many times the audience responded. So don't worry about that. But have a caution on that. Have a caution on that. Some people have this habit. Like the moment they feel that the audience respond, they create some new jokes on the spot. Like, thank you, that person sounded like this. This is like that. Okay, I like that, sir. No, you are deviating. At this point, the time will not be short. You are getting deviated and you can come back, finish it, you cannot make it. Right? Don't go away from your script. No matter what it is, do not go away from your script. But yes, till the last minute, change your content. That's okay. See, with me, the topic was chosen only during the lunch of the contest time. Like maybe you have a speaker in front of, who spoke before you. You thought 1 point from her speech will work with you. Yes, take it. But don't take it when you are standing on the stage. Good morning. Okay, that point sounds to be good. Why don't I start with that? You're going to make a huge flop. It's very costly. Decide everything before your name is announced. That's fair. Right? Some guidelines, quick things. They say keep your eyes and ears keen and sharp every time. Like how do I become a good speaker? Like who are great speakers, friends?
Good listeners.
Good listeners are great speakers. Who are good writers? Good readers are good writers. who are fantastic humorous speakers.
Who enjoy humor.
Who enjoy humor, that's it, as simple as that. Who enjoy humor can create humor. I'm taking something out of my context because there was a discussion with the president a few minutes ago. It happened to be like this. Should I have gone into the question or by now? Okay, I'll manage. The point is, like, I forgot this point. Okay, I'll get it. And there was a very important point that I wanted. This thing. Laughing, responding to jokes. See, you're observing a joke, maybe from a comedian. You did not feel like laughing because you did not find it as a good joke. The other members in the audience laughed so well for it. And you feel, okay, these guys laugh for this joke, why don't I pick that joke and present it? Or at least in that style. I'll tell you, it will not work. It will not work. Because you from your heart did not enjoy that joke. And you from your heart cannot present that joke. Now think of the other case. There was a joke. Nobody else in the hall laughed for it. You laughed because you felt a humor in it. You try it on that audience, you will win. You can make that joke work because you from your heart felt it as a joke. You from your heart can present it as a joke. Right? Please understand that. If you can be a humorous, a person who enjoys humor, who relishes humor, you can present humor. That is the point. Okay, I'm sorry. This is very important. Match your personality with your jokes. This is something to be understood psychologically. Like, people should be able to accept you for the topic that you have taken. That again happens in the first 90 seconds. The jokes that go on to the first 90 seconds, tell them about your personality. Like now, you look at Dhananjaya, you feel like saying, I see something in you. This is because the first 90 seconds were setting that context. Like you see some people, you know them for their topic because you accepted them for their topic. And they made you accept them for your topic. And that is more important. See that the personality, or maybe the voice that you're going to carry for the 5 to 7 minutes, the body language that you're going to carry for the 5 to 7 minutes, see that it is very natural. The joke matches with it. Should it always be self-inflicting? People say, you would have definitely received this as an advice. Always inflict yourself. Always crack jokes on you. Is it like that? To an acceptable limit, you can use other personalities as well. But the problem there is, see, in the first 90 seconds, you set your personality. When you crack a joke on you, people laugh. It does not work when you make it on another person because they don't know that character. Introduce that character and then damage that character. You understand? Try to understand. Like I told you, my uncle was a still cameraman, today is still cameraman. And then I started scolding him, then it worked. Maybe I did not introduce him, it may not have worked. I don't say, go mock at people. No, that's not the advice. Definitely not the advice. I just wanted to make it light. That never works. But if you're going to crack a joke on another person, first explain that person to people. Introduce that person to people in a way that the next joke is helped. Okay. The second says stop thinking. Just start. Just start. Enough of thinking. You know what you have to do. You know what you shouldn't. Just start first. Questions? Yes.
So, you said it shouldn't be like a stand-up comedy. So, what if it's like stand-up comedy?
Not a big deal actually. Not a big deal. Point number one, sir, like the contest rules say that it should not be a stand-up comedy. Okay. They say stand-up comedy, the real sense behind that statement is, say I crack a joke on mathematics. Then I get into terrorism and I crack a joke. Then I go into dietitian and I crack a joke. Then I talk about something else, talk about something else, talk about something else, finish my 5 to 7 minutes. That is stand-up comedy. Right? I talk about preparing for my maths exam, a separate joke. Number 2, in my maths examination hall, number 1, number 2, then the results of my maths exam. This is somewhere like a stand-up comedy if I don't connect them with a small twine. Like the twine is what they ask for. You connecting mathematics and dietitian will be a tough job. And you will not land up very successfully. If they obviously see that there is no connection, they feel it like a stand-up comedy. But there is no column in the ballot sheet stating, if it sounds like a stand-up comedy, disqualify this person. No, there is nothing like that. It only increases the probability for you to lose marks. It doesn't disqualify you as a speaker. See that there is a connection between all your jokes and they all lead you towards your topic, sir. That is the point.
You spoke about the time and then the pauses that you can have in the... in one of my prepared speeches which contained some humor, people started laughing and then there was a wave of laughter, which I had to pause. So I actually ended up speaking for almost 8.5 minutes.
Okay.
But still, inside the club, nobody minded that. But then,
If I go there,
yeah. So
what should I do? I have landed up in that situation, sir. See, a 4-second pass is okay, sir. A 4-second pass can still get you back on time. If it is lasting for more time, say, assume you asked a question and they threw an answer, laughed, okay. But for that answer, there is another answer given by a person this side. And another person starts giving an answer. Stop them immediately. Stop them immediately. If it is lasting for more than 4 minutes, you having given a pass is done. Move. Get into your contact. The best way to move is don't look at the same audience and say, the next day, no, that might seem so offensive. Turn the sentence, the next day, then there it's okayed. Right? You have to be careful if it is having a ripple effect. No, that will not help. 4 seconds is okay. Still you will manage, you will come back to the same time. But if you feel that the audience is, maybe you said it happened in the club level. Everyone knows you and the way you felt, those people would also have felt the time is not a big deal in the club. So they would have started talking among themselves. Don't let that on the stage. No, definitely not.
On the contest day, when I'm waiting for my name, there's another person who is presenting. There is some scenario wherein my concept would have been spoken by him. And I'm waiting and I got mentally upset because of how to tackle it.
I have this fear every time. I have this fear due to 2 reasons. I feel like the person there would present my topic, or I also feel like I will get engrossed into his speech. So the moment the contest begins, I get out of the hall. Okay, I get out of the hall. I mean, this is a psychological thing, friend. In the first slide or the third slide, I had given a point named confidence. Confidence comes when you believe in you. That's it. I presented a speech on, say, obesity. There was another person talking on obesity. Only I will shut down my confidence on that point. You come there again talking about obesity and the audience will still enjoy that. The audience will still enjoy that if you present it in your normal pace, in your natural way. And in fact, we don't have any other choice there. We will have to do that. But a mind which has seen that speech, a mind that knows that this person has already cracked their joke will not have that confidence. So keep that mind, preserve that mind, insulate that mind by having it outside, is what I may say. Or, staying deaf to that content would help you. Like you understood that the person is going to talk about obesity. Shut your ears, bend down. Even if the person has not talked on your points, that would shatter your confidence. It's simply important that you go there, talk the way you want it. That's it. And you cannot alter your content. If that was what you were expecting, my answer is no altering the content on that point of time. So just a second. In evaluation contests, everybody evaluates the same person. In table topics contest, everybody talks on the same topic. Lot number 10 has won in both the contests. They end up talking on the same thing. Accepted by the audience, should be accepted only by us.
But at that time we are staying outside.
To do that this time also. Great.
Sir, last time I gave a speech about something else. This time I have a lot of ideas of the same speech with a different writing.
You can. See, he says like automatically when you talked on that topic, you would have gathered so many ideas that you have to filter only a some and use in the previous speech. Now, a good chunk of them is still remaining. I want to make use of them. Try to make the audience at least feel that it is a different content, but you still use the same concept. I assume that I still have mathematics jokes with me. I still have a few of them which I did not use the previous time. This time my topic will not be again mathematics, maybe, if that is the type of question you are asking. My question would be about my education in general, or maybe my innocence when it comes to education, or I will compare 2 people. In one of those areas I use this concept, it can go that way. In fact, in one of my speeches after the maths speech, I used maths as a portion, but my topic was not maths. I had 3 to 4 jokes of maths, but my topic was not maths. You have a different perception given to them, have your jokes fit in, they wouldn't check whether that has a strong connection with this or it can best to suit some other speech. That analysis will not happen. One point about humorous speeches is, people are ready to go mad. They don't check the logic. I'll tell you, they don't check the logic. If they're going to check logics, the way he said, like, no, this doesn't suit you well. Just imagine I told you a joke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Smiled. And I continued. Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Do you have 1 in the cards? And we don't think of it. It's okay. The joke is okay. It's a joke. That's it. Go ahead. We don't think of it. And so many cases like, you know that I would definitely have not flopped with this atom bomb. comedy? If not, what happened to the child? That would be your question. Nobody was bothered about it because we know it's a mad joke. Yes, still we'll go ahead. That's important. So people are going to accept that. Use those jokes. They're very precious. Something that you preserved during a successful speech is going to be successful. It's going to make you successful. Okay. What should I do now, sir?
If you want to
Got two more questions.
Should I go with 2 more questions? Yes.
Should the humorous speech have a moral or a happy ending?
No, sir. No, definitely not. The humorous speech doesn't need to have a happy ending or a moral. No, definitely not. You say, finally I again lost in the race with my wife. Finish the speech. Not a happy ending, still okay. Another thing, you did not convey a message to the audience, so do this next time, you will win. You did not do something like that, still okay. Still okay. I mean, in my case, I was actually blaming. See, we know in mathematics, x is always lost. Right? We always find x. I was talking about x in the last few minutes of my speech and I finally said, and even to the Toastmasters I say, don't call them XCOM members, that's why you can't find them at times, and I went. The point is, I'm like offending them and I went. And nobody really worried about it. Okay. Yes, can I have this as the last question, friends? Like, I'll definitely get your questions. I can answer you offline. Shall we have it that way?
Yes.
So you said you can have 25 to 30 jokes. If you take 1 minute for a joke,
Don't take 1 minute for a joke. Ma'am, it's like this. Do not assume that a joke will take you 1 minute. Set aside those calculations. Like at this point, like when I listen to you, I feel like, yes, you need at least 1 minute to crack a joke. It's not like that. In a span of 1 minute, you can complete 4 jokes. Definitely complete 4 jokes if you have it placed in such a way. See, I was giving you the first hint of my ISC, right? The first part, like I fumbled on the stage. My coach said this, that, and then I went into this this joke. Cracker, threw it away, and I go to this scene of the drama. Till then, it would have taken 1 minute. I would have had the audience laughing at least thrice. Set aside the calculations. Check if every line has a scope for humor. Check if every line has a scope for humor. Sham, is that humorous speech? Yes, that is humorous speech. Go ahead. Set aside the other calculations. Check for scope in every line, every word, if possible. It will work. You will get it. Forget that a joke is like an explanation. Finally, the cracking happens. Explanation, the cracking. No, in the explanation itself, you will have so many jokes cracked. Think of it from that angle. You will feel that so many can be. Yes, friends. Fine.
Sir, one last question. Who is your maths teacher?
Would you ask for the phone number after that?
No, I said one last question.
One last question. Brilliant. Tough question. I said easy questions. Okay, great. I mean, I've preserved this from him, sir. I have checked that nobody goes to him and says, I have a lot of respect to my maths teacher. He's a person named Rajashekaran. I have a lot of respect to him. But it's always like that. Have you felt that? Like, I have my passion towards the language, English. Have you checked this? Like, most of the cases, people who are so passionate towards the language find some difficulty with the calculations, logic. If not, forgive me if you're good in both. Good, fantastic. I'm like that. Okay. So, this has always been that way. I love my teacher, sir. This is the problem. Maths is the problem. Not him. It was not he who created that trouble. The book that created that trouble. Okay. Fantastic, friends. Really had a very good time. I believe that it has been of some use to you. If you are taking this up, if you are taking the humorous speech contest this time, kindly think of these points and have a good show this time. Rock the stage. Best wishes to everyone. And thank you so much for.